Thots will always compare you to her Xmen. To her Xmen. And if Jawara's in the audience, I'm going to shout out Jawara because he made some comment on one of the other presentations where he said something about, yeah, she compares you to her Xmen, and he spelled it like X-Men, and I think he was making this fun little metaphor. So shout out to Jawara, because right when I saw that, I was like, oh, I got to do a presentation on that sometime. So that is to Jawara, our man Jawara. Okay, so here's the question. What is a thought? So this is what we're going to start with here, guys. And I got two definitions here about a thought, for those of you that don't know. So this one says thought. What guys call girls in schools that send out nudes and porn of themselves. An acronym for that hoe over there. And here's context for it. Man, if you bang her, you better wrap it good. That thought has given herpes to half the school. So that should give you a little bit better idea of thought in your mind. And then we got one here that I think is a little more... this one seems more useful for today's digital world. Thought. It can stand for that hoe over there. A thought is usually active on social media, especially Instagram and Snapchat. On Instagram, she can be found in pictures of her in the dog filter and is usually half naked. On Snapchat, she is most likely posting videos of her obnoxiously lip-syncing to rap songs while playing with her hair, thinking she looks like Kylie Jenner. Oh, we see this exact picture in our head, right? Probably wears Calvin Klein, Adidas, and Nike hats. She has perfect eyeliner and contour, and she seems like she doesn't care what anyone thinks about her. She may come across as a fake, conceited, shallow, dumb girl, but deep down, she is insecure, and unfortunately, the only way she gets confidence is by getting validation from men on social media by posting pictures showing off her figure and plastic face. A girl that you just has to get attention in all different ways, especially like now with social media and all that. She has ways of getting attention, and she loves to have that attention validation from multiple men at any one time. Okay, here's the goal, guys. Here's the goal for this one. Avoid any serious relationships with a thought. By understanding this situation, understanding the mindset that we're going to go through about what would be like to be with a thought, you can happily avoid any long-term commitments to thoughts. Now, this girl here on the right, she looks good. I'm not going to say, some people might just say avoid her at all costs. She's good looking. I'm not saying you have to avoid her at all costs, but avoid any serious relationships with a thought, because you are going to run into all sorts of problems from X baggage. So here is the situation. The situation that we're going to talk about. This is where, thoughts get around town, and even more accurately, thoughts get around towns, plural. Because of online dating and social media, they can get around countries. They can get attention. They can get all that validation from around the world these days. So modern thoughts are cunning creatures. I think there's always been the idea of the typical thought. Like, even if you were to go back to like the 80s, there'd probably be the girls that you're like, oh yeah, those are the thoughts of the 80s. But it's even different now, because these are those same women that are able to just walk around and flirt and do whatever they need to do to get what they want. But they also do this with online. So they can have this in their pocket at any time they want. They don't have to go to the bar anymore to get all this attention and validation. They can do it on Instagram. They can do it on online dating. They can do it on Facebook. They can do it on, OnlyFans these days. So they not only can flirt with men anywhere they go, they also have digital men always at the ready. So this is like the digital thought, today's world. The digital Terminator woman, like one of those fembots from Austin Powers. Okay, so here's the danger. I'm going to put this up here because I like that. You'd make an excellent Gambit, Adam. X-Men and cards. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Gambit's awesome. And I don't know how many of you guys know this, but I used to be hardcore into playing poker. Used to make a lot of money doing that back in the day. Okay, so the danger, they taste the alpha buffet. So because of social media and online dating and all that other stuff, the way to connect, Twitch, everything you guys were saying in the comments, Thots are able to connect with and hook up with lots of alpha men. Now, again, this is a different creature today that we're dealing with because of this new way to connect with all these other men. Because again, if you flash back and you have some of the thoughts of the 80s or whatnot, sure, you might be kind of the what do you call it? The neighborhood bicycle, where everyone around town maybe has had a ride on that thought in that town. But at that time, right, that girl only is going to be able to, even though she can experience a lot of men, she's only experiencing the men in her town. So she's still getting a taste of different caliber men, right? There's only so many men in one town. Versus today, these days, since she can find all sorts of alpha men. She can find the most, the top 20% in every little town that she goes into, from Tinder or online dating or social media and all that. She can just so easily swipe and match with those certain guys. She is hooking up with so many more of those alpha men than women previously were ever capable of, just because of the networking capability these days of online dating. It's like the thoughty women became thoughtier. They just have more access. So it's at an extreme level. And then even the average girl now has morphed into more of a thought than any previous generations. Now, here's the biggest problem about this, is the unreasonable expectations. So you got this girl here in her little princess, cap and wig or whatever. And so because Thots can taste the highest status men, they believe they deserve commitment from the highest status men. That right there, this is the big missing link that a lot of women don't necessarily understand about this, is that sure, we agree that women have, when we say sexual marketplace value, women have, a lot of people go, well, women have a higher sexual marketplace value their entire lives because they're able to get sex their entire lives. But on that sexual marketplace value scale, we have to take into the factor that women want the commitment part. That's like her value on the scale. That's her sexual marketplace value, is how could she get the highest status man to actually commit to her and provide for her long term? So it's a different goal for women and men. That's a discrepancy there. So because women are able to sleep with the highest status men up here, they, in their minds, and I understand why they have this entitled mindset, right? We can understand this because they are literally able to sleep with all these high status men. So they're tricked into believing that those are the same type of men that they should be able to get commitment from without bringing anything to the table. They're just like, well, I've gotten these men before. Well, I should be able to, now when I'm ready to settle down, I should be able to get one of those guys again. But it's a different game when a woman wants to settle down. So that is the huge problem, is that they can sleep around and then they're getting these high expectations about these men that they're dealing with, all these high status alpha men. And then when they decide that they want a relationship, the only guy that are willing to commit to them are men that she deems lower status. So her expectations are super high for this guy. He has to do everything that all of these alpha guys could provide her. But he has to do it just that one man in a committed relationship. And it's just unreasonable. There's no way he could live up to that. But we can see psychologically why this happens. We can see why women believe that they're settling, because they're able to get a bunch of men, right? They don't understand this game like we do. But it makes perfect sense why women do believe that they are the prize, but they don't realize that, them being the prize, a committed relationship, they have to bring a lot more to the table than just a pretty face. Here's where this becomes a sad ending. This is why all men need to avoid any type of long-term or serious commitments with a Thot. The sad ending, and this will happen every single time. In different ways, it'll be drawn out longer in different relationships. But if you're invested in a girl that gets this validation from multiple different men, this is going to be the ending these days because of how our society has been shaped and cultured. She compares you to her Xmen. So because Thots have sampled the best of the best, they have created a mega ideal partner in their head. As her own value diminishes, her expectations from men get higher and higher. Again, this is another just discrepancy that men and women, it's a difference between men and women. Women's hypergamy has always been the fact that she needs to lock down the highest status man that can protect and provide for her and her future children. It's always been that way for a woman because when she gets pregnant for 9 months, even if she doesn't want kids, it's just in her body, right? If she gets pregnant for 9 months, she's going to need a high status man that's going to be able to provide for her while she's, vulnerable and pregnant and all that. Also provide for the family, take care of the kids, all of these things that she's going to fight off the enemies, These are all things that are just programmed in her. So that hypergamy is always going to work. Now, the problem is, again, once she tastes these high status men in certain arenas, she goes on dates, she sleeps with these high status men, her hypergamy is something that us men don't have. Her hypergamy checks that off the list. I hit that. Man, I made that mark. I got a guy that was this caliber. Now, since I was able to attain him, right? She thinks that she was able to attain him by sleeping with him. Since I'm able to attain him, now I'm going to look for a guy that's even higher status than that. He has a little bit more higher income. He has a little bit bigger muscles. It can happen in different areas or arenas, but the fact that she samples all these ones, her expectations gets higher and higher, and then because women they age, they get less attractive, they get less fertile, they're not as attractive as they once were. Her expectations grow because of hypergamy, but her value actually decreases. And then it just continues the older she gets. So it's just a horrible, this is why we say any girl is welcome to do whatever she wants. She can sleep around, do whatever the heck you want. I really don't care. But just understand that it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare for women because they're setting themselves up with these unreasonable expectations because of hypergamy that they just simply will not find in one man that's willing to commit to them. The Xmen, who are they? Who are the Xmen? Guys, we can make this interchangeable now. I might slip this in here. When I say Chad and Tyrone, I might also say the Xmen. The Xmen are the mutants, the alpha mutants that possess unique and rare gifts most normal men don't have. That's how we're going to look at the Xmen in her life. Because again, remember, if a woman's been able to experience multiple different men, only the highest of the high are going to be the ones that really stick out to her in different ways. So if she's experienced that, that's going to stick with her. It's going to become one of her Xmen in her life. The X's that she just cannot get rid of. The alpha widow mindset. Don't forget, subscribe, like, comment, share the video, but definitely subscribe.